So I stole this sweater from Mr. Soap and Clay, not because it fits me, because it doesn't. It's super big. Not because it has anything to do with the pour today, because it really doesn't. Really just because it's been sitting on top of his dresser for like a full year. I think maybe since February, so almost a year at this point, and I'm having to like dust it every day instead of him just like putting it away. And so I'm wondering if I wear it, if he'll notice that it's gone. So that's it. That's my fun, weird story for today. I'm going to tell you about the soap that we're making in just a minute, but before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. I'm a little passive aggressive with my husband. Let's make stuff. It's really comfy though. So I mean, I might actually keep it because it feels nice and it smells like him, and so that's winning all around. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 243 of 365 days of soap, and we're making another Game of Thrones inspired soap today. We are making the Cleanjoy, inspired from Greyjoy. All a thing. Now this is a salt brine bar, and it's also a salt exfoliant bar. So there are some different things that you need to do within your soaping if you're going to be using salts in either your lye solution or within, the actual batter as an exfoliant. And we're going to talk about all of them in the video. So we should get to that because it's kind of a long pour. House Greyjoy. It is always really weird to see these super short videos, especially when it comes to knowing the amount of detail and thought process that I put into the back end of these, because the Game of Soaps series was just George R.R. Martin's books are so big in my life, and the television show, the HBO series, also big in my life, and so much thought was put into these that it's weird to see oh, hey, this is a little bitty baby video. But here we are. So this is a salt brine bar that we're doing because it's House Greyjoy. So of course it's a salt brine bar. What else would it be? And so for the salt brine, I put the salt into the lye solution, and it's for this particular recipe. This soap itself makes this batch itself makes 24 bars, and so the total for the lye solution is 12.54 ounces of water, 5.46 ounces of lye, and 2 ounces of salt. And so it all goes into the lye solution, cools down, does its thing, and then, we do this. And we are looking for emulsification at this point, and you see how it's separating? That is not emulsified. You cannot soap at that point. You should not pour off and do the things, although I think I've shown you examples wherein that's fine to do. But that was a different video. So yes, this is a multicolored bar. In addition to the salt brine solution, this is also a salt bar in that it has the Himalayan pink sea salt in it. The kaolin clay is dispersed in water, and we are doing a multicolor swirl for the whole bar. Now, this is an interesting pour. Whenever you're working with salt brine solutions, you are going to just know a number of things. And the first thing that you should just know is that it is going to perform, regardless of your oil blend, it is going to perform much like you would expect a 100% coconut oil soap to perform, as far as the proper time to cut it and stamp it. Because of the extra salt in it, it does get harder faster, and by faster I mean very fast. And so you should plan on cutting this within 12 to 24 hours of pouring, and also stamping it if you're going to be doing the things. Otherwise it will be too hard to do anything else with. Now, for this particular variation of the House Greyjoy bar, I am doing a 4 color blend, really. So we've got the dark blue, the green, the black, and the white will be the main portion. So I've just taken everything and separated out into different containers. Everything will be colored and scented accordingly, and all of the salt will go into the white-ish, and then we'll do the thing. So with salt bars, if you're going to be adding salt for the exfoliant as well, you need to be careful about the amount of salt that you put in. And I almost never say that, right? I almost never say you should actually pay attention to these things. There are some definite rules within the soap making world that you should always follow. But those rules are that list is very small. I know a lot of people like to make soap much harder than it is, and I have my theories as to why they do that, but you know, that's not really this video. That would probably be more of an FAQ, so if you're interested in my theories, hey, let me know. But yeah, no, this is for this particular thing. If you're making a salt brine bar, which is just by nature going to be drying the bar out faster anyway because of the inclusion of salt in your lye solution, you should definitely also, and you're additionally going to be putting in salt as the exfoliant, you should definitely be paying attention to how quickly this can dry out, as well as the types of oils that you use, because salt can inhibit lather if you use it in too high of a percentage. And so just keep that in mind. Now, this particular oil recipe that I have, this is a pretty basic, it's a variation of my Big Bubble blend. So this is babasu and coconut at 70% of the total oils, and the remaining is olive oil and argan oil, and that's split equally, 15% on each. So I am doing that to make sure that the babasu and the coconut together will perform really well and have a really nice big lather on it, which is good. But because I'm getting that big lather from primarily solid oils, I'm going to be working with a secondary problem where this bar already gets super hard super fast. So it definitely needs to be cut super early, stamped super early, or I am never going to be able to get the House Greyjoy stamp into it, and then that would suck. Now, for the pour itself, we are working with a thin lines pour that will be poured into the mold essentially at just one point, and it will create a sort of wave pattern throughout the rest of the bar, which is, you know, super cool. So let's go check out that pour. So again, the pour of this bar, it is a thin lines pour into the pot itself, and then I am just picking one point in the middle of the bar, and I will be in the middle of the loaf, and I will be pouring just from that area. And once I see that we're getting way too much white in the pour itself, I will continue layering in a thin lines fashion into the pot again to finish off the rest of the bar or the loaf. Now, with the thin lines pour, with everything in soap making, it's all about the consistency of the batter. It's all about how thick your batter is, how thick or thin your batter is to achieve the things that you want to achieve. And with this, I do just sprinkle in salt. I mean, you saw me put some salt into the white portion, sure, for sure. But I also just sprinkle between layers and pours to get some more salt into the upper layers. And that's really just a safeguard against maybe the batter was a little bit too thin, and I don't want the salt to all fall to the bottom. And so I do that too. This batter is not too thin though. This batter is actually the perfect consistency to do what I want with it, which is really good. And the final step with all of this, again, it's just taking the remainder of it and putting it on the top however I sort of can. And I don't know, with these soaps, it all depends on how the soap comes out of the mold for the final, or out of the pot for the final pour. If I like the sort of ribbony effect that I've created, I won't skewer it. But if I don't, you can always take a skewer to it and create some interest on the top of the bar with this one. Ultimately, for the Game of Soaps line, it really doesn't matter, because the Game of Soaps lines, they get stamped, and so that really drives the whole theme home. And so super not important. But with this one, I like it. It's pretty. I'm just going to add a little bit of gold to it before I CPOP it. I've heard tell of soapers refusing to CPOP their salt brine bars, and I don't understand why. I have never had any issues with cracking or the bars getting overly hard. So I CPOP, but I CPOP everything. So, you know, I mean, take that for what it is. And yeah, this will be put in the oven for CPOP, for gel, for all of the things. And we will check out this gorgeous bar, you know, tomorrow and see what we are working with. But, you know, so far so good. That is an absolutely stunning top, an absolutely stunning bar. And the inside is going to be super interesting because of all of the different variations within the colors with a thin lines pour, really. And so yeah, let's go check out the cut. On to the cut, and this is such a short video that I don't even have time to. God, that's gorgeous. So beautiful. And you see the craggy bits there from the salt, because it's a salt brine bar, and that's perfect. That's actually 100% what I wanted with the House Greyjoy bar. And I'm actually bummed I don't have enough time to actually talk about, and I never do with the Game of Soap stuff, about like the actual, you know, different houses within the Game of Thrones line and all the things. But, you know, this is House Greyjoy. We do not sew. I changed that to we do not soap in the packaging of the bars. And yeah, those are super pretty bars. But yeah, I mean, House Greyjoy, it's the Iron Islands. They are the nautical house. They have all of the ships and all of the things. And they are dirty, honestly. Don't they always look dirty? Like they haven't bathed in a really long time. And so with the scent blend, which I've yet to talk about with all of this, I couldn't make it smell like BO, like we've never bathed. And so instead I went a different tack, and it smells like the sea. So it's salt, and it's, you know, sea spray and all of the awesome bright watery, you know, scents. It's awesome. But these bars are also super beautiful, and this is just me, like, is there a pattern that can be? I don't think there is. But the way that we poured this in, it created some very cool interest from one bar to the next, which is, you know, awesome, because this is one of the reasons I love swirled soap so much more than, you know, sculpt or layered soaps, because every bar is a little bit different. And I think, honestly, if I had enough time and actually thought about this, if I put a couple of those bars together, I think I would have seen like a kraken or something with that black inkiness coming over from the side. It would be cool. But again, that's an interesting thing. I think that's just for soap makers. Like the butterfly swirl is a prime example of that. It's a beautiful bar, standalone. But the whole point of a butterfly swirl is to have like two bars next to each other that look like the wings of a butterfly. I swear to God, I saw a penguin in that one. You should rewind that. Did you see a penguin? I saw a penguin. Why am I... Oh, I was showing Georgia May the penguin. Like, I see a penguin. And I think she said something at that point, like she saw something else. Soap Rorschach is so much fun. Like, it's just the coolest. It's one of the coolest things ever with all... And that's, again, one of the reasons why I love swirls over anything else. And for this, again, you have to stamp it right away. A, because I'm using a 3D printed mold, or a stamp, but two, because it is a salt bar, and so it's already at the point where it is getting too hard to be able to stamp with anything, with a, you know, 3D printed stamp or an acrylic stamp. So do the thing real quick, get all of these bars stamped right away so they have the impression of the crack in there. And it's beautiful. Look at that with the gold stamp and the Come on. I understand that. I mean, I don't really like House Greyjoy. I kind of pity House Greyjoy. There's a like-love relationship with House Greyjoy for me, but I don't have the time in this video to actually talk about all of that. But, you know, whatever. That's okay. The bars are gorgeous. It's a salt brine bar. They're absolutely stunning. That is day 240 something, the Greyjoy bar. And there it is, the Cleanjoy bar. Now, yeah, so working with salts, they can be a little bit touchy. It's a lot like working with like a solid oil soap, like a coconut oil soap, or something that's not otherwise well balanced, in that you really need to pay attention to when you cut them, as well as when you stamp them. If you wait too long to cut, they are definitely going to be brittle. It's not going to be a lot of fun to get your knife through, or your blade, or your cutter, whatever it is. And if you want to get a stamp in, you better do it right away. So yeah, the Cleanjoy, the Greyjoy line, there's such an interesting line in the Game of Thrones like series, like in general, the Greyjoys, and I always really love making this bar. It doesn't really super capture what the Greyjoys are, but I couldn't make a soap smell like they hadn't bathed in a very long time. And so the scent blend is delightful. It's like salt spray, ocean air, all the great things. Yeah, so yeah, if you are interested in the Cleanjoy or any of the other Game of soaps, you can totally find them at the website at soapwithclay.com. If you're interested in more soapy antics, those were multiple words, but the captioning is going to go blah, 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 because yes, you could subscribe to the channel. Click the button. It's the word subscribe. It's there, I think. Yeah, and you will be notified when I drop a new video. We are doing this every day, as the name 365 Days of Soap might suggest, and it'd be cool if you would come along for the ride. That would be fun. For those of you who are along for the ride, thank you so much for being here for another round of 365 Days of Soap. You, as always, super rock. I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye. It was funny that I actually said, like, tomorrow with a pause. Like, I didn't know when I would see you again.